Now that we know a great deal about triangles and how to prove them congruent and how we can use them in other objects, we're actually going to talk about some of the parts of triangles. And so the first one that we're going to start with is called the midsegment. So the midsegment of a triangle is just a segment that connects the midpoints of two sides of that triangle. So what it looks like is if I have a triangle, the midsegment connects the midpoints of two of the sides. So if I have a triangle ABC, if I find the midpoints, here's one and here's the other. If I connect these, call this D and this E, DE is a midsegment of my triangle. And not only that, but it's important to note that every triangle will have, of course, three midsegments, because I have three different ways that I can connect the midpoints. And so in this case, DE and EF and DF are all mid-segments of my triangle. So this is just one of the segments I can find within a triangle. It's the mid-segment. And so it has this property that obviously divides the sides that it connects into two congruent parts. However, that is not the only property that it has. The other property is actually a theorem, and what it says is this. The midsegment theorem says that if a segment connects the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, so if it's a midsegment, then it is both parallel and half the length of the third side. This is both parallel. Let's see, I'm writing on this one. Both parallel to and half the length of the third side. So what I mean by that is that if I have a triangle, so let's just give us a not interesting triangle here. If I have a triangle A, B, C, and I find one of the midsegment be about here, call it DE. It has two additional properties besides the fact that it bisects these sides. It is both half the length of and parallel to this opposite side. So the two things that will be true is that DE will be parallel to AC, and the measure of DE will be half the length of AC. So these two properties hold, besides just the fact that it bisects these two sides. So this is something that we can prove, of course, and we will. But this is just another one of the traits that a midsegment has these three properties: that it bisects the two sides, which is a definition, it's parallel to the opposite side, and it's half the length of the opposite side as well. So these are some properties that we can use with midsegments, and that we can build into some other things going forward.